What was that?
Found out. I think someone had their phone or, but
Did you guys all see the same thing?
I had that, so I had to mute.
Okay, so okay,
Sounds like the sound is okay now.
okay, because I don't understand any of this. So
We're in now.
Welcome to SalveTV. This is Monica Kunsekwe-Guta. I am an author of Life's Chrysalis, Stories of Transformation and the Power of Change. I compiled that one, and I also have got a solo book, entitled Silent Strength. Today here I've got my amazing people on the panel, and we are focusing on beauty. What is it? How do we define it as Black people, as a people, and in our communities? What does it mean? What does beauty mean? I will let Spiwe introduce herself to our audience.
Hello, everybody. We're back again. My name is Spiwe Mafumo. I'm on this platform quite often. And how do I describe myself? I'm a writer, and I'm in advocacy for social change, HIV, and a whole host of other things. I enjoy this platform because we need to talk about issues that affect us as Black people, and look through things through a lens that we can relate to. And I think this is going to be very, very interesting. I mean, when you talk of beauty, um, we're talking of things that are aesthetic, and so it'll be interesting to share and hear what my other panelists have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll move on to Leroy.
hi, I'm Loren Williams. I'm a ex-songwriter producer. I am now a conditioning coach and a personal trainer and a life coach. And I'm really, really, really excited to speak on this panel about beauty, because beauty to me is way, way deeper than the external of what we see. I think beauty is something that's so thorough. And I think if we can look at it from its thoroughness, then we'll really, really captivate what I think beauty is all about.
Thank you.
That's it, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You got to tell them what you do, what FIDA is about, brother.
Oh, I also have a athleisure brand, which is called FITA, which stands for Power Heart Youth Town Attitude. And that brand specifically is to acknowledge mental health awareness and change the language of why we wear fashion. Because fashion is a language. And I think that if we can convey the language that we feel through our clothing, we'll be able to open a much bigger conversation about overcoming, and something that we all do, whether we are, educated, not educated, tall, slim, we all are fighting for something and fighting to preserve our identities. And so that's what FIGHT is about.
That's fabulous.
Fantastic. Now, Maxine, let us, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, before I start, I just wanted to send out some love from Loren myself. A high school colleague, his brother passed away. So just sending out love to the Menzies family.
Yes.
Your West Humber crew, we're here bigging you up. Well, my name is Maxine, and I support women to become unstuck from toxic relationships and limiting behaviors. I see myself as kind of like a lighthouse of love and compassion to lead people back home when they're lost. Professional chef by trade. I live a wellness lifestyle. I also I create wellness products like my magnesium butter. And I'm just here to do my part to, increase the love and kindness in this world and to show everyone that beauty starts from the inside and radiates out.
Thank you. Thank you. So I decided to do a little bit of research. I just have a couple of points to read about what was said about beauty, but what I discovered. So there is a huge link between mental health and beauty, and also especially in the beauty industry, health and beauty industry. That's where there is a lot of it, because there is high stress levels because of what the job demands. And also the people who work in there, they suffer a lot of negative feedback from clients. And also there is emotional reaction that they receive from clients, whether it's positive or negative. But we all know that when our emotions are being pushed up and down all the time, eventually, we become emotional wrecks because you don't know where you stand at a particular day. And also there is an excessive pursuit of perfectionism. And it's also external. Now, from that point, I'm going to go to Sipiwe and find out from you, if we're talking about beauty, what came to mind and what do you know?
As I said, this topic is pregnant with meaning. I'm telling you, there's just so much packed in in that statement when you say beauty, because it all depends with what lens you're looking at beauty through. There's a Eurocentric way of looking at what they call beauty, and then there's Afrocentric way of looking at beauty. I can go back where I come from. Things that are looked at as beautiful on a person, it's got nothing to do with what I know from a Eurocentric lens. When they look at that, every culture's got a way of looking at things that are beautiful. But as we said earlier on in the backstage, really, there is more to it than what meets the eye. It's a holistic kind of thing. To me, what looks beautiful is a person who throws in that sense of attraction that makes me look at the person and keep looking at the person, right? But also when after the person is gone, what makes a person beautiful is what they exude when you talk to them. How are they inside? What kind of person does that strike you as like, what a beautiful person, what a lovely person? You could meet somebody who is badly deformed, and you take time to talk to the person, and when they're gone, you're like, wow, an amazing person. This is a beautiful human being. So really, beauty, there is more to that what we see aesthetically as pretty. It's like babies. Babies are beautiful. And it's very rare you run into somebody say that baby is ugly. I mean, unless you yourself have got a very ugly heart. They are soft, they're beautiful, they smile, they are lovely, they make you feel good. They bring the beauty. Bring something out of you just by being. So really, when we start looking at people and putting shades to it, to me, that it kind of limits what a beautiful person is all about. I think I'll stop there, then I'll carry on later.
So when I was excited that Maxine invited Leroy to come on our platform, we might get another male figure to come on the platform, but I also wanted to know, how do men define beauty? And also, what does it mean?
Wow. I don't know if I can actually speak for all men. I'll try to put it in one text or one thought for men, but I think generally men look at, once again, beauty as an external thing. in the onset. For myself, I believe there's two different things in regards to beauty. I think that you are attracted, most people are attracted to beauty. I believe myself, well, I know myself, I am connected to beauty. So anybody that I meet, I mean, I guess the original attraction is there, but for me, it is even quicker than that is the connection. So I connect to people that are beautiful first. That's what I would say see, but in most cases, not even what I see, it's what I feel. So I connect to that. And I think that is a deciding and different thing in regards to that word beauty. You either are surface attracted to it, or you're connected to it. And I think there's a big difference, and that kind of decides the type of person potentially that you are, if you're just attracted to it first versus connecting to beauty.
So you actually connect to something that is invisible.
That's right. I think that's me. I'm an energy type individual, and I've always been that way. One of the questions that I ask, especially to women, and I ask it sometimes quickly, I say to them, is there more to you than beauty? And if they, for a quick second, if they think about it, I think I get the answer.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I get the answer. So. But you have to think about that. I think it says a lot, because there should be way more to you than just beauty.
Right. Right. We'll go on to Maxine before we come to Chrissy.
Well, I just wanted to wish Christina a pleasant good evening. It's so lovely to have you. So Maxine is going to take a little spin on beauty and speak about beauty from a healing perspective. And I would summarize that in a very short sentence.
Maxine, we're getting some feedback. So I don't know if your phone is on.
You know what? Let me just put it out here for a second.
Okay. Christy.
I'm sorry it was off, but perhaps there was an echo. So I'll just quickly say that from a healing perspective, I see beauty as the vulnerability to be authentic to self as many moments as possible. Just letting your raw energy flow, whether it is crying, whether it is laughter, whether it's joy. I think for me, that's what beauty is, because then you get to feel your emotions. You get to feel what life is about. And the reason why I've used this now as my terminology for beauty is when you start labeling things, that's when the hazard comes in. Because if you have beauty, you have ugly.
Right. I'm trying to unmute. Okay. Christine, welcome.
Thank you.
I'll give you an opportunity.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, and then you can give us your views about the topic at hand.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the welcome, Maxine and everyone. So I am Christina, a young woman just living and evolving. I'm currently in Jamaica, which is where I was born and raised, and it's just a pleasure to be here with you all tonight. So I do a little writing and modeling, and for me, beauty is just allowing your resources inside basically to shine outside. because regardless of how you look, then how you treat people is really what they remember in my eyes. So if you're physically attractive and you're like mean to everyone, you kind of come off as ugly, you know? And if you are not what everybody considers beautiful in the world, but your spirit and your energy is just so captivating, then nobody will even think of what you look like. So for me, beauty is just allowing all the resources within you and all of your experiences just to shine through.
We seem to have kind of the same theme, where beauty is coming from within, going out. My first compilation was, initially I called it The Woman's Beauty, but then it became The Depth of Her Soul, because I was thinking a woman's beauty is the depth of her soul.
I love that.
So going to Sipiwe, looking at the definitions that we have received, why is it that most people focus on the external?
You know, the impact of I hear feedback.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
I think the impact of social media has really changed the way we look at pretty or beautiful, you know, because pretty is something else. Beautiful is, as we have all agreed, it's something more intrinsic. It's much deeper, right? And we can look at from a Zen point, and we can look at it as through any other means. And again, it boils down to what do we want? How are we defining it? How do we want to define beauty as a people? We would like to define it like everybody has said, something is much deeper than what the eye meets. But if we want to go along with what is has been looked at as beautiful, then I'm afraid we would have to drift towards how it's impacted, what has been created in our mind is what's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're getting me.
No, we don't want to go there, but we just wanted to look at the reason why, so that we can help people realize that this can affect them emotionally and spiritually.
You know, anybody who stands up and says social media, shut it down, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But really, to a large extent, it's changed our thoughts and our beliefs in what is a beautiful thing. Because unless we sit here and demystify the Kardashians, then we come back to, like, you know what, this is what we call, this is what is beautiful. But because of impact of television and social media, people have a tendency to align themselves with what everybody else is believing that's beautiful. But that doesn't define beauty in any way or any form. It's much deeper than what the eye meets.
Thank you. Go over to Leroy.
I think that why that happens is because, unfortunately, in society, we, through social media, again, it's perpetuated a certain way. And instead of us thinking individually and creating that whole sense of what we actually personally, individually believe that beauty is, there is a universal benchmark that fluctuates day to day through social media, through marketing, not through everything, of what beauty is. This year, you know, a pouch in your tummy for women is beautiful. Next year, it's a six-pack, and so on and so on. And we don't, I was gonna say we don't get a chance, but we actually don't take the opportunity to define that our own selves, to embrace what we believe is beauty, and sometimes even speak out against all these different platforms that say this is what's right. In our community specifically, whether your hair is straight, if it's nappy, this and that, that's all decided and depicted not necessarily by us, interestingly enough. It's people that actually don't have our hair type. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's that's why it happens, and I think then that's why the confusion, and that's why we have the emotional and the mental imbalances, because it's not a consistent message that's there. It's always fluctuating, and in a situation where you have fluctuation up and down, what you do is you get a steady state, because people just the emotional roller coaster ride. Then after a while, they just don't care no more. So then you get a situation where people are numb to what beauty is, to express it, to actualize it, to acknowledge it, all of that. It's kind of like, okay, neither here or there about it, which is crazy, because at the end of the day, like all the ladies said today, it is something that should be flowing from you all the time. Well, when you have all this information, you get jammed with it, you stop that flow, then that's where that mental health happens, because it's a part of your growth. It's a part of your life experience, is to express your essence, your beauty, and you don't know which way to express it, what version to express on what day and what time. And I think that's what happens. That's why in this situation that we're in with this COVID thing, people are questioning that, because you have to really take time to look in the mirror. Can you imagine the situations, and maybe I shouldn't even get into that, but with all the scruffy faces and all the long hair and the nails that were broken off and couldn't, a lot of people are like, but your essence of who you are was still there. Some of the relationships in homes, husband and wife, they deteriorated because it was based off of that thing, that social media thing, not actually potentially, like, for instance, relationships. When you laid down with the mask off and you looked in your husband and your wife's eyes, whether you had the pot belly or you didn't have that, you still had that love and saw the beauty of who that person was. And then through social media and through not being focused and actually being in the now, you lost all that. So that's where I think it is. It has a lot to do with the books we read, the social media.
Yes, I noticed that when you are in Hollywood and you're watching TV, you actually start to feel the pressure, because if they're not talking about the perfect teeth, they're talking about the perfect hair, the perfect nails, and it's as if there is only a certain type of people that they're putting so much in the face of everybody else. And you would notice that people around that area are a lot more stressed than other parts of the country, because everybody is kind of thinking of Hollywood and what to kind of emulate and to focus on. Chrissy?
Yes.
Yes, can you, is there got anything to add? I think the echo is coming from your end.
I think the echo is coming from I don't have a cell phone in my room, so I'm not sure what will be happening. Is it, if it's on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on, but it's outside of the room.
Okay, I'll give you a minute to switch it off, and then you because there's an echo that's coming through.
Okay, thank
Well,
you.
I can go next, Monica, and then Christina, you can.
Yeah, you can go next.
Okay.
So I would just love to add to what Leroy has said about moving that bar of what beauty is. Because let's face it, life is a business. And like anything else, there's no money in the cure. So you can't have one cure. For some, it's the gym, as Leroy said, for some, it's a tummy tuck. So it's, if you adjust one thing, something else. So it's like moving parts. And during COVID, I mean, the amount of clients that call me that, as Leroy said, you don't like your kids now, you don't like your husband. You know, you're seeing things that you were just too busy to pay attention to, right? And mental health is going through the roof. Just the fear of COVID just brings out those underlying issues that have always been there. And I'm just gonna throw this out there. Those issues, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is feeling unbeautiful or unsomething, that answer is within you. Don't shy away from it. Listen to it, feel it, reach out to a friend, talk to someone. Accountability is one of the only things that changes behavior. And until you become accountable to your feelings and who you are and what they're saying to you, right? You'll always be chasing.
That is true. I see even myself here. I live by myself, but I am on here on social media. I actually get people inboxing me and say, why did you do something about your hair? The good thing is I'm confident, right? I'm very confident and I'm not affected. This is me, all natural. And this is how I was created. And when I look at myself, I see a part of my dad. I see a part of my mom. I see my family in me. I see it. And I love it. And so to have someone who is telling me what lipstick to wear, and how I should wear my hair when I don't feel that I have a right to tell anyone how they should look, because when they left their house, they looked at themselves and they felt good. And so I have no right to tell them that they are less than anything. But, I totally understand that they feel the pressure for themselves. If they're feeling discomfort about how I look, it really has got nothing to do with me. It has got something to do with themselves. And I think this is how we should start looking at ourselves and listening to how these pressures come from external forces, and just look at yourself and think that this is me. That is why I wore my hair like this today, because I feel good, I feel lighter. And I'm happy. Moving on to Christy, and let me unmute you.
Okay, yes. Just to revert to the social media thing, I think what that does is force us to think that beauty can be in this box. And for us, especially as people of African descent, native people, there are so many shades and colors, so many different sizes, but it's only one set that is promoted. I mean, just think about the people in your family. There's somebody with a different texture hair, somebody has a different shape, somebody nose is different, somebody forehead is different, but it's what makes us who we are. I think this is beautiful. This is something that I painted some time ago. And, it's just one expression of beauty, especially in our community, because we're so diverse, as I was saying, the shapes and the sizes. And just like Monica said, when I look at myself, I see my grandmother, I see my mother, I see my father, I see my aunt. Often they tell me and Maxine how much we look alike. And there are so many other beautiful shades and sizes. So, I guess what social media promotes, you need to be slender, probably tall, light skin, hair straight, but when we think about the people that we see every day, not everybody fits in that box. And we just have to learn to appreciate ourselves and everybody, because we all have a gift, regardless of what we do. You have to just accept these things, because at the end of the day, you can't naturally change how you look anyway. You can change how you feel inside. But what you were born with physically, you can never change. And even if you try to change your complexion, you won't be really successful, because it's not something that you can permanently change. So, acceptance is a very important element in beauty and just feeling beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Self-acceptance. is important. So before we read the comments so that we interact with our viewers, I'll go to Sipiwe, then we just read a few comments.
Oh, okay. Again, I think people should feel comfortable and perceive beauty through what they see. As Chrissy said, she sees her grandmother, her mother, and whatever in her, right? And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's very, very important, and we again, we should learn to look. I don't know. I'm not saying, I shouldn't say we should learn to look at it, but to view ourselves as a people. Be okay with where you are. When you are 25, you won't look the same when you're 50, when you're 60, but you're still the same person. It's the same target, right? It's just the different times that feel okay with the now, whatever the now is, right? And when you are 25, you're slim and you can eat all you want, and you are okay. And you turn 50, 60, you're still the same person. It's just that your now is different from before.
Okay,
I gotta speak to that because Leroy and we're debunking what 50 looks like. We're fighting that. That's a program we don't run on.
Maybe I'm missing something. I'm just leaving it at 50, and you could be, I'm way past that myself. But I've never looked at myself as anything. I'm still the same person, just a little older, right?
Yeah.
Once I had dreadlocks for 13 years. I don't wear hair anymore. I'm still the same person. I don't think those kind of things that we attach to beauty is what makes a person beautiful. Okay, if you take a woman, to my grandfather who is 79 and leave him there, she doesn't have to have a Brazilian weave. She doesn't have to have the eyelashes which are put in there. She doesn't have to wear makeup or foundation or lipstick or anything. You can take just what they would call a very basic woman, and he would say, this is my idea of a beautiful. She could be big front, a big rear end, or whatever. To him, that would still be beautiful. But you give a young man who's 25, a woman like that, they probably look at her very like, well, she's okay, but man, she's kind of plain. You know what I'm saying? So beauty is more than just what you perceive with your eyes. And really, we all beautiful. It doesn't matter whatever age you are. It doesn't matter. If you feel okay with who you are, that's just fine. That's just fine.
Thank you. I'll just read a few comments here.
Leroy had something to say.
Okay, go ahead, Leroy, before we go to the comments.
You know what? I mentor a lot of kids as part of my job, and one of the things I always tell them to do, it's an exercise. And before we start to work, I have them just stand in the mirror, and I ask them to look directly in their eyes, directly into their pupils. And it's nerve-wracking to a lot of them. Why? Because at that point, you can't get to see all the other stuff. All you can get to see is feel. They hear their heartbeats, they hear everything. Some of them start to sweat because they have never actually taken time to actually look at themselves. Because majority of the times when you look in a mirror, you're not actually looking at yourself. You're looking at your eyebrows, you're looking at your eyelashes, you're looking at that if you have a pimple on your nose, you're looking at those imperfections, those things. You're not actually really looking at yourself. And so when I ask them to do that, the things that they tell me after, they're like, wow, coach, that was one of the most toughest things for me to do. It was hard actually not for me to look away. And I think that that's another key to it, because the eyes are the gate to the soul, but a lot of us just don't go beyond it. Just don't go beyond it. And I encourage all of them to, in the morning, when I have the opportunity, I do look straight in your eyes. Take a second to look straight into your eyes, nothing else. It's a difficult thing. And after you get comfortable with it, then you actually start to see you. You actually start to feel you, because you don't see anything else. You see your energy, you see your vibration, you feel your vibration. And that's where the beauty is, I think.
And it's even more difficult if you ask two people to look into each other's eyes for 5 minutes without looking anywhere else. You will see them crying without saying a word, because for the first time they would have taken the time to look into that person's soul and see what resides in there. Just for interaction purpose. So people here are saying beauty is a combination of qualities such as shape, color, form that pleases the senses, especially sight. I don't know, it's coming across as external, but there is, yeah.
And I don't know if there's anything, I don't know if there's anything wrong with that, but if it doesn't make you feel grounded, I believe, and if it doesn't make you feel at home with yourself, and if every day you're chasing it, I think there might be an issue, because it's not something you should be chasing. It's something that you should be releasing all the time. So that's why, I said, I don't know if there's any wrong or right, but definitely if you're chasing it and it doesn't make you feel, and you're not comfortable when you wake up in the morning and you just don't feel beautiful because your eyes are open, you're breathing, and you feel your energy and your essence, and you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm happy to be in this. That to me is beautiful. And that's where the mental health comes in, because a lot of people wake up in the morning and before they even look in the mirror, some of them do, and a lot of them potentially just don't feel beautiful. And so then we go and we throw on clothing and we try to do that. And that's why you heard me earlier say something about fight. It's a language, because that thing that we put on our backs and our clothing, et cetera, that is a guise. And it's a lot of times it's just telling another story, because that's what society says. You have to dress to attract people. You should be dressing how you feel. And if your energy is good and you're at a great place, because you'll see it, if people are not feeling too well, the dark color is going to come out. Well, then again, society also says that the dark colors are not a good thing either, right? But based off of what we say as society, at the end of the day, if you wake up in the morning and then people start to cloak that feeling, you're not feeling that good today, so you're wearing these type of colors, et cetera,
Go to Speedway.
That's very powerful what Laura said, because you see what happens is when you look at yourself and you are forever chasing something that's not there. Can you imagine what happens if one day you have an accident? It happens. You get a big scar here, a big scar there. Imagine the mental health, the depression you get into when something like that, what you have always felt is like, oh, perfect, and then it's no longer there. And dealing with the new you, it's best when you are comfortable with who you are, and any which way you are okay. It's got to come from inside, and loving yourself and respecting yourself and being okay with you, because things don't always stay the same. And that permanent pursuit for what you think is pretty or is beautiful doesn't always stay that way. There's a thing called age. Okay, what are you gonna do? Because there's no running away from it. You won't look the same, as I said, when you were 25, when you're 25, and you're in your 30, when you're 40, when you're 50, when you are 60, and then you'll be 70 one day. And if you're not okay with the casing that makes you, then there's a problem there. And hence people spend so much money going for this, cutting this, but it will never be the same. And if your soul is not okay with the box that carries you, then that's going to be a major pursuit for beauty.
I think when you're not okay with the casing, there's certain things that you can do, but there are other parts of our bodies that do not respond to anything, no matter what. They will show the right age. And so certain parts might respond to the transformation, but there are other parts which will always remind you. And so you have to be comfortable here for you to have the self-acceptance that Christine was talking about. Maxine?
Yeah. Well, Monica, I just want to build on what Leroy and Sipwe said about that's the hazard of beauty from the eyes only. Because as Sipwe said, it's something that you have to find within as well. And, you know, the eyes are the gateway to the soul, as you said, but you have to use them properly. We have to go more internal and just use these as visions and not always guides. And yeah, everything starts within. And by the way, Christine, I just wanted to commend you on that beautiful painting. And Leroy, I just wanted to mention something, that exercise when you look in the mirror and you hold that intent. The next step is you look in the mirror, you hold that intent, and you repeat, I love you to yourself. And that will give you a good indicator of where and how you feel about your internal beauty.
Yeah.
You know, I also think what we're doing here, I'm sure there are quite a few people who are watching us talk and saying, well, that's all very spiritual and whatever, but me, I want my weave, and me, I want me. I don't know about your people talking about this inside thing, but I just want to look hot. I can just see that with younger people. I know we've had many discussions as Black people talking about bleaching, for instance. We've talked about hair. The hair issue is a political issue. Black women and their, the hair. We've done that over and over and over again. And you think that it will make a difference. It's not. It's not. I mean, from what I have watched over the years, it's not. People will just tell you, even some of the most people you would think are quite brilliant and socially okay, they would tell you, I don't know about that. It's a choice I make. When it comes to my hair, I don't know. I could never do that. I could never cut my hair. I could never just leave my hair natural. I just love it. I put like 16 wigs. I wear a wig when I'm sleeping. And I'm like, who does that? But there are people who have gotten to a point that I don't want to say they hate themselves or they hate their normal whatever state they're in. I don't know, but really, I know out there we're talking all about this really from a spiritual point of view to a lot of things, to a lot of people. They still perceive it as like, no, not me. It doesn't work. I'm not going to do it that way. I don't look all right, and I have a right to be who I am. And yes, but I think we should. We need sometimes to discuss about these things from a deeper point, like Leroy was saying. You've got to look at you and see you as yourselves, because you don't know what life is going to be like. You don't how things are going to be like with yourself. And if you're not comfortable with who you are, then it's going to be a problem when something goes south.
So adding on to that, those who are not comfortable in not having to have anything done to maybe have their eyelashes fixed and probably having the hair straightened, you can imagine the level of stress that they've had when this lockdown has happened, which is why Maxine was saying mental health is through the roof. So they may not come to you and say, the reason why I am so distressed is because I have not had my hair done in 5 months. I've not had my nails fixed in so long. I have not, and yet, when you look at it on another, from the people who are comfortable, and always express gratitude. They're seeing it as freedom. Oh my God. I don't have to go and have my nails done. I feel good and comfortable in my own hair. I can do whatever, and you can even whip out the old hairstyles that we used to do when we were kids, and nobody cares. And so there is that to look at. And where are you? Where do you start to help yourself to heal? Because if you're getting distressed and the situation is not changing for a long while, how are you helping yourself? And probably the conversation that you need to tell whoever is helping you with counseling or coaching, if they fail to pick it up, that this is coming from the pressure that you have not been able to have the artificial fittings that you normally have, or you normally wear. That's where the distress is coming from. And so where is the root cause of this feeling coming from? Christine?
Yeah, I think it's just that mirror challenge that Leroy mentioned is very interesting to me, because it's like, yes, you're seeing the reflection, but how you feel, how do I explain it? You're looking in the mirror and you're seeing yourself, but how you're feeling is because of what you're seeing. So it's a programming again. So it all goes back to how you feel and how you feel about what you're seeing. So acceptance, it all goes back to acceptance there again. Because I understand, I don't think anything is wrong with, liking to wear wigs or getting your nails done, but it should be like an amplifier rather than the root cause of why I feel good. Because a good outfit, that's very nice. When you get your hair done, especially as a woman, we do feel a little extra confident. And, when you have your nails done, you kind of feel brand new. It's just a little aid in like changing your perspective. Sometimes you just want to change a new hairstyle or something. But as you said, it goes back to the root and how you feel when you get up in the morning before anybody sees you, before you're able to put on these things, because they're only accessories. How do you feel with that blank canvas? Very important.
Ladies, have you guys ever seen when an animal for the first time walks in front of a mirror, they go crazy? Why? They have never, ever in their entire life seen themselves for real. They now have to adjust to that. Majority of them don't. Some of them just stand there in awe. Some of them want to attack themselves in the mirror because they think it's somebody else. They can't believe it. That's what that experience, that's what we deal with day to day. That's what actuality and reality of who you really are. Think about a Christmas tree. You have to know the frame of the Christmas tree in order to decorate. You have to really know how much decoration you can actually put on it because you're aware of the frame. Imagine if you did not know the frame of that and you just kept on loading that Christmas tree. You didn't know how strong it was, et cetera, if it could handle all of these ornaments that you're putting on. But you need to know that, and we lose that because that is depicted by somebody else. That story is told by somebody else of the way it is. That's why we put on some things, I believe, we put on some things that are not even supposed to be on our person. And we try, we try to put on shoes, if it's a certain type of shoes, and we're a size 10, but there's only a 9 left. We fit our feet in there. We try, which ultimately damages our feet, and so that's why that mirror thing is there. And I learned that from that situation, is that you really have to take time to sit with yourself and listen and look at yourself really, because animals have the hardest time doing it. And we as human beings, we're supposed to be a lot more intelligent than the animals. And we don't have no time to really take the small time to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, that's really who I am. COVID in this whole situation has forced that to happen. And some people just have to embrace and accept that, okay, you know what, my hair is not going to get done for a while. I am going to have to get used to this. It's a sink or swim situation. Some people are pulling out their hair, and we have the mental health. And some people are like, you know what, I'm not really that bad, you know, and okay, so my hair is growing, I get the smile, you know what I mean? And my hair's along, whoa, okay. Maybe my nails actually do look good, and my cuticles do look good. I don't need to paint them. And, you know, and okay, I got a little pot belly, but I'm not, my muscles are not that pronounced. But you know what? I'm not too bad. We've seen a situation where the scruffs was unheard of for the scruffs. Now men are kind of like, you know what? Let's keep that scruff on and let's tighten it up a little bit. And it's okay to have facial hair. You know what I mean? So this is a good time. And I think people are forced to deal with taking off of all those layers because you just can't. So are you going to accept who you are, or aren't you? And are you going to find beauty when you're walking? What are you going to do? Turn around all the mirrors? What are you going to do? Brush your teeth in the dark? No, you're going to have to now through COVID, take some time and accept that, you know? And I think that's the beautiful thing about this. We are getting to see all the different layers that are put on us in this COVID time, and we're taking them off, whether financially, aesthetically, through your clothing. So many people now are like, whoa, all those shoes.
Oh.
Oh, and you know, all those jackets and all that food in the fridge that I actually don't use. And all those television stations that I just was surfing, now I'm just down to actually watching Sisters or watching whatever it is. You get what I'm saying? And so I think that is the beautiful thing. I think that's the thing that they didn't plan on, but it's a thing that has come out of it that's really beautiful, is that it's a cleansing. It's a cleansing, whether you like it or not. It's a cleansing. It's a cleansing of your thoughts about yourself. You're going to have to deal with them. It's a cleansing of your clothing. It's a cleansing of your financing. And that all attributes to your essence and your beauty.
I think you said it all. You just put it all together, because it's a cleansing. It just put us in a place where you look at all these things that you've accumulated, and you know, you think it enhances you here and there, but we're just fine. I mean, we've gone through 10 months and you don't need to buy any new clothes, really. And if you do, you're sick, really, to a large extent. To go where and do what?
Yeah, I think people are going to become out of this more selective. Yes, you're going to put on the wigs, or you're going to put on that mustache or whatnot. But I think now you're not going to be running to that every day, because you've learned that you can deal without it every day, which is the beauty of it. Yeah, you're supposed to be able to put on, you know, some things sometimes because you want to up it up a little bit. Yeah, that's okay. That makes you feel good. That's why we're not all dancing every day. But you go and dance because, yeah, you want to get that vibration. But to be on dance every day, that's just going to tear you down eventually, because it's not a reality. That's my opinion. It's not a sustainable reality. You know what I mean? Your sustainable reality is when all that is off.
Wow. You're absolutely right. I mean, COVID, and maybe this might be foreign for someone to hear this, but COVID really is a great reset, and there's no time like right now to push that button.
Yes, I was just going to say it has given each and every person a moment to sit with yourself. Not sit with anybody else, but just sit with yourself. You sit there, you look at every aspect, you check what is important, what isn't, what matters, what isn't, and it's turning out, we are now for the first time realizing that a lot of things don't matter but relationships. We are seeing for the first time which relationships matter and which ones were fake. COVID has just exposed a lot of things about ourselves, about our behaviors, about certain things we used to do, but it has just exposed us. And yes, it is time for us to push that reset button and really map out how we want to live from here going forward. And that's why we say this is spiritual, because we've never allowed ourselves to go this deep looking within. We were so focused on looking everywhere else but ourselves. Christine, would you like to? I'll give, and I'm now giving everybody 1 minute to. It's refusing to unmute. So I'll go to Spiwe. 1 minute for you to tell us. Go ahead, Christine.
May I have a repeat, please? 1 minute to tell you.
1 minute. Now we're wrapping up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 1 minute for you to give us your final thought.
Right. So as you said, COVID definitely has been a purge, and it's just time for us to do a lot of inner work. And you just have to go within. As I said, it may sound monotonous, but you just have to go within, because what are you really gonna do? If you don't like your leg, what are you gonna do? Chop off your leg? If you think your feet are too big, or how are you gonna resize that? We just have to go to that level of acceptance. And it's really comparison that kills a lot of things. Just go, oh, I don't look like her, so that means I'm not as beautiful. But maybe you're your own form, you're your own beauty. You're not lacking anything, and neither is her. We complement each other rather than compete with each other. So let's just find that acceptance within and know that we are all beautiful regardless of what we're seeing. And just take great care of ourselves, mind, body, and spirit.
Fantastic. Maxine?
Yeah, as I'll pick up where Chrissy left off about taking care of yourself and upping your self-care. I mean, a great way to start falling in love with yourself is change the language that you speak to yourself. Use compassion, use kindness, and that quickly builds into self-trust. And, just start liking little small things about yourself. And before you know it, you'll see that you are more than enough. You're worthy and you're beautiful. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you.
Thank you. Leroy.
I would say beauty is not a learned behavior. I think beauty is innate. I think what society has taught us is that it's something that you learn, and they depict it all over. Beauty is something it's there in you. It's not something that's learned. It's something that you live. It's something that you feel. It's something that you are, your creation. There's nothing like you. In that alone, you're beautiful. You're special. It's not something that's a learned behavior. You don't learn to be beautiful. You are beautiful. It's the way you are. It's your energy, and it's unique. And I think that people can potentially get that understanding that you don't go to school to learn how to be beautiful. You don't go get eyelashes and put on this, or go to the gym to learn to be beautiful. You either are or you aren't. And I've been around athletes, I've been around musicians, and one thing I've learned, and a lot of the people that look at these aesthetically, these people that you look at, they go home and they take all that stuff off, and they're like, because they're just teaching you what they've been told that you want to learn. That's not the way it is, I believe. I think it's something that's just natural. So people be natural and be happy with that expression, and that's your beauty.
Thank you. Spiwe.
I would like to emphasize is live the moment, because you're not going to be what you are right now 10 years from now. But if you live that moment and you are okay with the box that carries Spiwe, you know, because you're gonna live with it a long time now. Yeah, you're not gonna change it and get into another one. You're gonna be with Speedway, with the box that makes Speedway your rest of your life. So feel okay and live the now, and always remember you're the best thing that ever happened to you. So really, you love you, and look at yourself. I learned something from Leroy. I stare yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, this box is just perfect, and it's going to be with me for the rest of my life until I go away. So always remember that, and please every day try to demystify what's really been given to you as what is beautiful. Because when you were a baby, you were the most beautiful baby your mother ever had, and you are the same box, the same person, just a little older. And if you don't like yourself, if you don't like the box that carries you, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna cut it up in any which way, and eventually it will get to your head. Then mental health will set on, and love you. And I love you all. You look beautiful, people. And I bet you look the same when you are my age and getting older. Still love you.
Wow. I saw, I have a friend, she experienced some serious burns when she was young. And she goes around giving a speech, and her speech is called Still Beautiful. Her book is called Still Beautiful. And so beauty is within, and that is what we all need to remind ourselves. And if the character is ugly, no matter how much makeup you put on, no matter how much bleaching you do, no matter how much external transformation you have, it will only take a few minutes wherever you go for people to realize how ugly you are, because it will be the character and the qualities that you are exuding that people just see, you know what, we don't want to be around this person, because that negative energy will be affecting them. So work on your character, work on accept yourself, love yourself, because you cannot give that which you don't have. If you love yourself, you're able to love another person, and you're able to love them wholeheartedly because you have got the love that you carry from within. So thank you so much to all our viewers, and thank you so much to our panel. This has been a very great discussion, and there is so much for us to talk about to help each other to learn how to balance. Next month is the mental health month. March is mental health month. And so there's a lot of things that we need to unpack and help each other to grow and to stay balanced and grounded and stay beautiful. Thank you.